Welcome to #FinanceMaster. Kick back, relax, and enjoy this week's show.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Finance Master Show. So great to be live here on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Streaming everywhere we can try to catch you. This month we'll talk about the month-end reporting, which you're in the middle of it right now, and you're maybe always in the middle of it, perhaps. So probably a good topic to tackle here today. My name, as usual, is liu-lindberg, and I'll take you through today's show. So, we're in the middle of a series where we talk about hacking the annual wheel of finance. And probably the most persisting ingredient, let's say, of the annual wheel is the month-end reporting. And maybe there's a way to do it a little bit differently. Because go into any finance department and you likely find a group of very busy people. Maybe you're one of them. Ask them a question and you'll get an answer like, sorry, I simply don't have the time, or I'll get back to you next month or next quarter if it's a quarter close. This gives finance a very poor reputation in the company, and other departments find workarounds to get things done without finance being involved. This is not an ideal situation for anyone. It's not that finance professionals, or few people, are not service-minded and that you don't want to help. It's just you just cannot find the time besides the standard work that's included in your annual wheel. When examining root causes of this, the monthly reporting cycle comes out as the most resource draining process. Here's kind of what a typical process includes, right? Obviously, not limited to these activities. So first, there's all the transactions. Companies usually have a cutoff date for when a period is closed for regular transactions. This is often on the first or second day of the month, and sometimes even before the month end. After this time, it's only the finance teams that can get entries into the system. The second step is accruals. Posting accruals where sometimes information needs to be sourced from different departments. This can significantly delay the process, but some of the activities can also be done before month end, like posting standard accruals for insurance, office rent, and bonus payments, and so on. Then comes entity reporting. Once the books are closed, it's time for all entities to report their numbers, which usually have some intermediate step from the ERP to the consolidation system. But maybe it can be done in a day, at least when we talk about entity reporting. Then comes intercompany reconciliation. It's probably the most dreaded task, at least in large and also mid-sized companies. This can cause significant errors on the P&L and balance sheet and force entity reporting to be reopened, further delaying the process. At least I painfully still remember all the times I thought I'm done in workday 1, even sometimes workday 2. And then, comes headquarters saying, yeah, sorry, there's a intercompany mismatch. We have to correct your numbers, and you're not going to get that workday 2 score, it's a workday 5 score. Completely destroying my scorecard for the year and very, very demotivating, especially if it's just 1 or 2 entries that don't really matter. Anyway, we have to get this done. Then, the intercompany reporting is settled and corrections made where, usually then you need to make some top-side adjustments. We'll call this journal entries. I know sometimes you use journal entries for your transactional entries in the system, but you also do journals at a top level. This could be the elimination of revenue and costs between business units, where, for instance, one is capitalizing the services of another, which recognizes it as income. So, of course, you need to ensure that these things matches, and you don't have, for instance, revenue for something that is actually internal. We're not done. Now comes management allocations. So once the adjustments have been made, the enterprise consolidated numbers are ready. Now begins the process of management allocations across business units, products, services, and so on. In some cases, this can be done while other processes are running, but can also be quite complex, especially in a very interlinked business. You may just be sitting with a very few people who actually know how this allocation engine works, so that when you have to explain the numbers, it can be quite challenging. Finally, management reporting. And here is when we basically import our numbers and let business leaders and finance leaders, of course, know as well how they perform in the past month. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, longer, I don't know. Certainly takes up a lot of time in many companies. It's a recurring and standard process. So you would expect that we have optimized the record to report process to run smoothly. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Many companies, it could take up to 3 weeks. I've seen longer. I know it's shocking, but I've seen longer to go through the full cycle. If you include the quarterly and annual process as well, we covered the annual process last time, most finance teams spend more than half the time on this process. Isn't that crazy? Of course, you can say, well, we are employed to do standard work, and this is an important part in that standard process. But come 3 weeks late with the numbers, business leaders get the information in time to inform their decision making. Likely not. It's madness. So we need to consider hacking the process. Here's a question for you. What steps have you taken already to improve your month-end reporting process? Let's hear from some of you in the comments. I can see we have Yusuf already before the event commenting here saying it's a never-ending cycle, especially if the team doesn't know best practices. So she's hoping to get some good tips here, or maybe watching the playback. This is how it feels to most, right? So we all know what it's like. Oh, and by the way, let us know where you're tuning in from. Just write a small comment. We'd love to know it as well. We have a global audience here, so it's also great to know who's tuning in, and maybe you'll find somebody you can connect with and get some more input in terms of running a better process. But we'd also like to know what steps you have taken to improve the process. So don't forget that one. Now, in this series, we try to give you 5 hacks every time for this specific process. So here are 5 hacks to month-end reporting. Many companies have already made great strides in improving their monthly reporting. That's because many options are already available today to create a streamlined process. It frees time for value-adding activities. So let's look at some of these options. Number 1, robotics process automation, or RPA. This can significantly streamline repetitive tasks, reduce errors, and free up your team's time for more strategic activities. Implementing bots to handle data extraction, report generation, and distribution can dramatically cut down the time and effort required for monthly reporting. Number 2, real-time reporting and continuous close. If you move to real-time reporting and a continuous close process, you can eliminate the rush and stress of month-end reporting. This approach ensures that financial data is always up to date, allowing for more timely and informed decision making. You may say, hey, isn't that just extending the madness, doing it all the time? Not necessarily. Because if you're all continuously doing the activities you need to be able to close the books, everything is always in order. And by the way, there are great software tools that can do this for you, so you can automate a huge part of the process. Step number 3, business intelligence and advanced analytics. Now, we all need to do this, right? Leveraging BI tools with advanced analytics capabilities can transform how you visualize and interpret data. Augmented analytics and AI-driven insights can provide deeper, more actionable insights, making your reports more valuable. So, at the end of the process, you actually have something in hand that's valuable to your stakeholders, and it will help you produce it faster. So maybe you can cut some more days off the process. digital assistants and chatbots. Isn't that what we're all trying to get these days with Copilot and whatnot? Integrating digital assistants and chatbots can enhance accessibility and efficiency. These tools can automate report queries, generation, and distribution, making it easier for stakeholders to access the information they need on demand. And I just spent some time at the SAP Sapphire, watching some of the amazing capabilities that are available to many already today. Makes me really excited because all the things we have envisioned, for the past 5-10 years, it's happening now. So just ask the chatbot and you'll get the answer. Finally, going a bit further, artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning can be used to automate complex data analysis, detect patterns, and predict trends. And these technologies can help in identifying anomalies, forecasting information outcomes, and providing proactive insights that go beyond traditional reporting. Maybe that's the more, let's say, forward-looking part, but it can also help you detect transactions that don't appear right, or transactions where information is missing. We talked about that in our previous series about the top 10 priorities for CFOs in 2024, how generative AI can help you do that, right? So you don't have to do lengthy controlling process. Basically, just set your AI free to do the controlling for you, and you can focus on exception handling. So maybe not the most mind-blowing hacks, but it's also easy to go down a rabbit hole of futuristic hacks that perhaps are not so feasible today. Examples include blockchain-based reporting, quantum computing, and self-healing systems that automatically improve the reporting process. Now here we focus on more practical, implementable ideas that you can start working on. So you can always say we need to be a bit more radical here. I think we were a bit more radical last week, but it's probably also good to be practical. You see we have Philip saying hello here. So hello, Philip. Good to have you. Happy to see you tuning in. So one thing is to have hacks. How do you implement these? All right. What's good about the hacks we just shared is that the order of implementation follows a logical flow, and they build on top of each other. So here's how it could look from a practical perspective. Start with RPA. Identify repetitive tasks in your current reporting process that can be automated. Develop and deploy RPA bots to handle these tasks, focusing on data collection, consolidation, and report generation. Now you can start to transition into real-time reporting. Set up real-time dashboards that pull data continuously from your financial systems, and implement a continuous close process where financial data is reconciled and updated in real time. Wouldn't that be nice? Then you can enhance the reporting with BI tools. Choose a BI tool that fits your organization needs and start building advanced analytics and visualization capabilities. Now, it's critical that your data is of reasonably high quality in order to succeed with this, right? That's why you need to start with actually fixing that foundation first. Train your team to leverage these tools for deeper data insights and more dynamic reports. At this point, you can integrate digital assistants and chatbots. Develop custom chatbots or integrate existing digital assistants to automate report queries and distribution. Ensure these tools are accessible to all stakeholders for on-demand reporting. Now imagine you have a sales leader on the go and she's heading towards an important negotiation with a customer, a potential customer. And before the meeting, she's able to pull out all relevant information and insights about this customer. Both, of course, non-financial data, but also financial data. Feeling well equipped to handle the negotiation. Even if she needs insights during the negotiation, she may be able to pull that as well. This is what we need to get to, right? And finally, of course, you can implement AI and ML models to analyze historical data and predict trends and anomalies. Integrate these into your reporting process so you get more value out of analysis and practical recommendations. You may think that everyone is already doing many of these hacks. However, we just ran a poll on LinkedIn very recently, and our data shows a few finance teams have started leveraging AI for finance. 70%, at least when I checked the last time, have not started yet. Around 9% are using it across all finance teams. So it's a bit like the old teenage sex joke. We all think that we're doing it, but no one really knows how to do it. But we say we're doing it, so we all think that it's actually happening. But this should tell you that it's not too late to start. You can still develop a competitive edge by optimizing your monthly reporting process, and you'll likely improve engagement also across teams, as many of the monthly tasks are quite tedious. Let's just put it like that, right? So this is really where we are. Which of these 5 hacks do you think are most realistic to implement? And are there any hacks that you'd like to add yourself? Feel free to add in the comments as well. Also for afterwards, I always check back to see if there are some comments to the show. It's always a pleasure to have you here, and thanks a lot to all of you for tuning in. But please do invest in reducing the time spent on month-end reporting, because you need that time to work with business leaders and try to generate better insights for them. They need that. They're wanting that. They're screaming for it. So please don't tell them you're too busy. It's on you to find time for doing that. At this point, I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you're listening to this after the fact, feel free to comment as well. This has been the #FinanceMaster show. We talked about hacking the month-end reporting. And I look forward to seeing you next week, as usual, on a Thursday. So stay tuned for more.
You've been listening to #FinanceMaster. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on the latest trends in finance and accounting.